Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently sending our first Kerbals. Here we have Bill and Jeb heading on over to our Duna colony. So at this point, we're not quite in orbit yet. We are still suborbital. We just need 130.1 meters per second to get there, and we'll definitely have that. So let's cruise on forward here. Excellent. And we are, of course, going to start up this burn here in 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, that was a little bit awkward on the timing there, but it's fine. Our actual timing was good. We overshot it slightly. I don't care. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. So at this point, we are officially in orbit. This is not a simulated flight anymore. It was graduated last episode just to save time, and we are ready to go. So we need to head out to Duna. So sometime around here, let's see what that'll do for our overall burn timing, and we can see if we can just get over there real quick. I highly doubt it. Let's set as target, and I want to grab our maneuver if I can. There we go. Maneuver grabbed, and let's see about a little more prograde. What's this going to look like? Yeah, it's an absolutely abysmal launch window. That's what I expected. So we're just going to need to push out to somewhere around here, and we'll have to phase it. It should be fine. We should have absolutely, at this point, well, not quite infinite on the water, but pretty close to infinite water. Our farming is going to be... Okay, this is currently inactive on the algae farm, and we're missing carbon dioxide for our greenhouse container. I'm going to turn that off because we need water, but if we need food, we can turn it back on later. So that's fine. Let's get aligned over to this node. I'm going to physics warp as we turn, and I'm going to remember to extend this antenna. Even though we do have a pilot here, it's not, strictly speaking, necessary to have that antenna extended. And we're keeping an eye on our orientation here because this can block our solar panels, which is definitely awkward and is something I would have fixed if I did not graduate this up to a unsimulated flight before I noticed that. It's definitely a bit of a design flaw, that's for sure. We're going to warp on forward. We're going to burn the last little bit of this guy, and to be honest, I kind of want to turn the gimbal limit of this down even further. I noticed some oscillation on that last burn, so let's see how it feels like this. It's not going to be here for very long. We've got 16 seconds of burn time left in these tanks, so that'll be fine. 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. And off we go. Double checking staging here. Staging looks good. So we're getting accelerated up a little bit here. And now we're in this stage. I'm going to turn the gimbal limit down on this as well, down to about 20%. It did settle out basically right away, but I still want the gimbal on this to be fairly minimal. So that looks good. This is going to be about another 1 minute and 20 seconds of burn time. Okay. That's fine. We have fuel crossfeed here. Let's disable that crossfeed. We should not have crossfeed up top. And we're going to want to pull fuel up there. So we want to refill these tanks. That's okay. We'll do that after this burn is over. We want to make sure that these are relatively full. So that looks good for now. 200 more meters per second. And let's just bring this out of physics warp here. I did notice it crushed this a little bit, so that's not necessarily ideal. But it should be reasonably fine. We've got about 50 more meters per second to go here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to call this good enough. That should be fine. Okay, so we need to pin open these fuel tanks here because we need to refill these guys. So I'm going to say in. That's now full. and in. There we go. That's not much fuel that's going to be going up there. We've still got 1692 meters per second here, which should be good enough. So let's go ahead and at this point, well, we know that we've had issues with auto-warping in this situation in the past. So I'm going to manually warp this. Okay, that's 100. That's 1,000. And this is 10,000. And look at that. Okay, it broke. So we need to take ourselves over to... Well, we need to just do a small maneuver here, I think. A little bit more prograde. It doesn't need to be much. That's interesting. This is behaving very strangely. It's because of the projected encounter with the moon here, I think. Okay. This is very awkward. Let's align to the node. Yeah, so this is not an issue that there should be, but this is a bug issue. We can deal with it. We don't actually need 140 meters per second to get out of here. Okay, there we go. That's all we needed, like 0.6. So let's see if that was enough. So this is 10,000 X warp. Looks like now we're back on an escape trajectory. Looks good. I'm watching our waste build up here. Our water is holding steady. Our food is definitely declining. So we will see how our food does. I'm a little bit concerned about our food and water as we do this. We might have to send some sort of a vehicle to rehydrate them. We'll see. Okay, so at this point, we are no longer in danger of having issues, right? So I'm going to come over to the descending node here, and we're just going to fix our inclination ever so slightly, although I really don't think that this is strictly speaking necessary. We're in basically the correct inclination already, but this is only 10 meters per second, so we'll take that. We'll align to that node, and we'll get turned. So that all looks good for now. I'm just thinking, are we going to have enough to land this thing with accuracy? That'll be interesting. That will be interesting. It's going to cost us like 800 meters per second to get there, and then another chunk to break. I don't know. We might have to drive this thing quite a ways. That'll be interesting for sure. But if we have to drive it, we have to drive it. That's okay. So we're warping forward here. I'm keeping an eye on the food. And the food is definitely mildly concerning. Keep in mind that if we run the greenhouse container, then we consume water. So there's a number of things I'm concerned about right now, actually. But we'll see. Okay, so this is close enough to the point. I'm just going to go ahead and do the burn right now. Okay, that should be good enough. We'll put this in kill rot. And our inclination should be good. So at this point, we're going to need to add a maneuver and make our way out to Duna. But our setup is not great, right? Our setup is very not great. We're going to have to do a full phasing orbit. Definitely not ideal. So this is going to be out over here or so. And that would give us what kind of an encounter? Okay. The inclination is pretty good. It's good-ish. It's not perfect, but it's good-ish. And we just need to dial that in a bit. Yeah, that definitely is a bit broken on the inclination. Overshot it significantly there. Okay, so we'd be coming in somewhere around here. Just want to be checking, we'd be coming this direction. So technically that's going to be retrograde, and I want to flip that around. Okay, so we want to come in on this side. dialing it in a little bit. Inclination is going to be a little awkward. We may not have the fuel to really do anything about that. The real question here is, you know, I'm thinking about this. And I'm thinking, if we have to refuel this, this is the worst possible vehicle to have to refuel. That said, we don't need all that much fuel in here. We can probably loot most of the fuel out of this and just land on, like, this fuel if we need to. So we'll see how it goes. We'll get it lined up over here. 1 year, 97 days is definitely concerning on the food front. Our water is completely fine. But I am concerned about food at this time. So I'm going to warp forward. We're going to keep an eye on that food. Okay. I'm going to keep warping here until the food is at maybe like under 100 or maybe even a little lower than that. We've got a long ways to go here. The oxygen is dropping, but I'm not concerned about the oxygen quantity. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to stop the warp now. We're going to start farming, but we're missing carbon dioxide, which means that we need to turn off this carbon extractor, which means that our oxygen is going to start dropping faster, right? Let's start warping again. And our food is going up at this time. But our water is going down, and our oxygen is going down considerably faster. That's okay. Our carbon dioxide is building up, and we can convert that back into oxygen. So that's not that big of a concern. So our food being net positive is a very good thing. That's a very, very good thing. But we're going to still have another 6 months of warp time here. So that's noted. We're going to keep running the farm up until such a time as our food is probably full. Probably full. But before that happens, we're going to be through this warp. So that looks good. I am definitely concerned about our fuel amounts. We'll see how that goes. I'm not so concerned about our other resources at this point. So that looks good. We've got about 20 more days on this warp. And then our transit period is, of course, going to be a little while. So for now, I'm going to turn off our farming here, and I'm going to start running this carbon extractor again to build our oxygen back up. So that looks fine for now. We've got 50 seconds here, and we're going to get this burn underway shortly. So we can warp forward a little bit. 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, so if we hop over here, we can see this is actually going to be in 320 days, but I'm still not too concerned about that. We've got plenty of oxygen. We've got plenty of food. Our carbon dioxide is nearly full, so we'll run both our carbon dioxide scrubber and our farm for a little while here. We can turn our farm back on. We've got fertilizer, so that's okay. We'll be able to make more fertilizer once we get to our destination. But it's going to be awkward. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a burn here. Let's take this up to 4x time warp for now. 1 minute left. And we just need to continue to accelerate on up. But this was a really, really awkward transfer window, and I'm still fairly concerned about our amount of fuel remaining. So we've got 100 meters per second left here. Keep in mind, our deorbit burn is like 500 meters per second. So I'm very concerned about our fuel right now. Okay, we need to hit this quite accurately if we can. Okay, in it comes. Gonna have to throttle this down. Thrust limiter is at 0.5%. And we're just dialing this in. Inclination change could be spicy. We could skip it, potentially. But that'll have to do for now. So, as of right now, if we were to add a maneuver here, what would this look like? We'd have about 300 meters per second left. Okay. If we pull the fuel from here down to here, how much does that give us? That gives us a few hundred, actually. So that's decent, I think. Okay, let's align for that burn. It's going to be spicy, but I think we can do it. So we'll align for the burn, and we'll start warping here. So as we can see, our oxygen is going up, our carbon dioxide is going down very quickly, and our food is going up. We're going to have to stop farming here for a little bit, or actually, we're going to have to stop working on our carbon scrubber. So this carbon extractor that's here, this one, we need to stop that. Okay, so let's start warping again. Our food is continuing to head upwards. It's going to be maxed soon, so we'll stop that very shortly. Okay, so that's 240, 241, and 242. So we're now full on food. We're going to stop farming. That will allow us to build up our carbon dioxide, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run a carbon extractor here to max our oxygen back out. So that looks good. And we'll continue to warp here. And what's this warp actually looking like? It has not broken. Good. So hopefully we'll just leave it like this until we arrive here. And it looks like we're going to have enough DV, but we might be in an awkward inclination when we do the actual landing. We'll see what we've got left over once we get there. So far, so good. We've got about 80 days. This has been a kind of harrowing transit, though. That's for sure. So our oxygen is continuing to deplete. We're not surprised about that. And Duna will be right there. We'll be popping into low Duna orbit very soon. Okay, so we're in position here. I'm going to stop running the carbon extractor at this time because we need to run our farm again. So we'll start farming there. Perfect. And that is now negative, so that's good. Negative means that this is increasing. I know that's kind of strange, but that's the way that it works. This burn is way too slow. We need to change that thrust limiting. There we go. And we're going to walk on, or rather drop on down here. Periapsis looks good. So we're going to put ourselves into a reasonable orbit in theory. And yeah, so we're going to need to, if we're not going to do the inclination change, we're going to need to choose our timing on this incredibly carefully. That's okay. We know that our resources are actually fine. So we're not too concerned about the resources. We've got 30 seconds here, 20, 10, and I can't really read this, but 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. So we're in our braking burn now. Now, one thing we could have done is we could have aero braked. That is a possibility. Maybe we should have. But all we need is for this to do a very, very small burn right at the end to cushion our landing. And then maybe enough to take off and fly away, but that's not even necessary. So that's fine for now. We're in orbit around Duna as of right now. That's good. So we're continuing to slow down, and I think that we just barely squeak in enough delta V to do this if we skip the inclination change. So that just means we're going to have to choose our timing much more carefully. We're probably going to have to do phasing orbits to get into the correct orientation to land without an inclination change. I'm used to having much more fuel than this. This was spicier. but this should be absolutely fine. Okay, 2.4 meters per second. Let's just bring that down a little bit. I'm watching that apoapsis number, and we're looking for that to become approximately even. I still want to be around retrograde, but if we're going to do phasing orbits, then this is fine. Actually, let's just move this to retrograde. We're heading towards the apoapsis right now. Or rather, the periapsis right now. So let's do this. And this would be a very, very gentle burn here of... yeah, something along the lines of this. Only about 4 meters per second or so. I think we can afford that. So we'll lock to that node. And that burn is going to be in about 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Overshot it. Okay. Yeah, I definitely should have realized that. We're going to pull this back around and correct it, that 1.8 meters per second. We've still got a decent amount of DV here, but yeah, we're not going to land this tremendously precisely, I don't think. Okay, so we'll bring this on down a bit. Just a bit more. Good enough. So we'll bring this over to Kilrot. We want to have this be on retrograde. There we go. And from here, we can see the next time our orbit is going to bring us into phase, we're going to be passing over it right over here. So we're going to need to warp for a little bit here. We'll warp to about here for now. And we're going to have to do multiple phasing orbits here. I really don't think that we can afford the delta V to do an inclination change. So we'll warp this around, and I'm actually going to manually warp this for a little bit here. Our electricity is currently running out, and, I mean, sure. I'm going to turn the Smart ASS off for now, and I'm going to allow this to tumble. We're going to have the sun coming up very, very soon here. We were negative on electric charge here. I guess we technically have sunlight. Okay, cool. So that's fine. I want to manually warp this for a little bit here. So I'm just watching our electric charge right now. It should be fine. I'm not terribly concerned about that. Yeah, that's okay. So what we're doing right now is we're just warping this forward a number of orbits until our orbit relatively coincides with our landing point. And we're getting close now. So we may want to consider doing it this orbit or next orbit. I think this orbit. So sometime around here, we want to burn out all of our fuel in this tank. This is 580 meters per second, right? So we can do something like this. And I'm thinking about the positioning of our landing somewhere around here. Let's warp forward a little bit and see what that's going to look like. I also want to head us over to the node. Okay, something like that. I want to overshoot it because we will slow down some from the atmosphere, and there'll be some rotation this direction as well. But I don't know exactly how much we want to overshoot it. We do want to furl our antenna, so we'll retract this, and we want to pull back our solar panels. So we'll do something like that. Remember, this engine has an alternator on it. It'll be fine. So we've got 1 minute, 20 seconds here. 1 minute, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, this is our final deceleration burn here. And we're just going to decelerate as much as we can. So this will bring us down pretty close to our target position. We'll see how close. We also know that we should be fine without any sort of an in-atmosphere burn. We've done it before, and the parachutes are okay. It's not an issue, in theory. So we just burn out all of this fuel, and this is disabled crossfeed, so it should just automatically, as soon as we are through this burn, it should automatically turn off this engine without burning what little fuel remains up here. There's not much. How much burn time is that? Only 6 seconds of burn. Okay. So that's what we've got. Now we need to undock this and let that go. This is now useless. So that's fine. Off it goes. And I want to be on kill rot. Thank you very much. And we'll let these just gently drift apart. We're going to want to be on surface velocity minus. And that'll shove us apart a little bit. Okay. Just looking at the pivot location here. Yeah. Should be okay. So we're in surface mode here, and the real question right now is, where are we? We're basically right over our landing site. So I'm going to set this as our target. I don't really care what one. We can just see it's right there. We're probably going to overshoot this a little bit, but that's how much fuel we had. We can drive over to it. It's not the end of the world. So the next thing that we need to do is throttle down, and then we need to, and I want to be in surface mode right now, we need to engage these chutes as soon as possible. So the chutes are engaged. There we go. And we would like to be slowing down right now, but we are currently not. So that is noted. Yeah, we're definitely going to overshoot this a little bit. Radar altitude on. But this was kind of expected. We had a low amount of fuel. Okay. So definitely overshooting this. We'll be a couple kilometers away for sure. Like, I don't know. Maybe quite a number of kilometers away. We're still getting closer right now. So for now, that's okay. But we're not going to be tremendously accurate. We are slowing down at this moment. That is good. Okay, these chutes are going to be out shortly. Should have done that burn a little earlier. That's very clear now. But alas, it's fine. We won't be any further than, like, we're definitely not going to be over, like, 20 kilometers away. There go our drogue chutes. That's going to slow us down tremendously. That's a good sign. And our mains will go out pretty soon. Now you can see we're starting to get a little bit further away at this time. We need to get that horizontal velocity gone. We can see we've still got 100 meters per second of horizontal velocity. This would have been better if we had more fuel, but as it is, I'm content with landing, like, under 20 kilometers away. That seems okay. Our horizontal speed is going away. Okay, it's basically gone at this point. We're now going almost entirely straight down. So let's physics warp down towards the ground. And we're just going to have to cushion this a little bit with the tiny bit of fuel that remains here. So that's understood. Now, as of right now, our food is going up. We can turn on our carbon scrubbers. Really, this atmosphere lacks oxygen? I expected to be able to use air filters here. That has an effect on the landscape. Okay, our electric charge is running low. That's understood. We'll be able to extend these solar panels. In fact, we probably can right now. I'm going to extend one as a test. And that should start generating us at least some electric charge. I'm also going to turn off our smart ASS. For the time being, our chutes should hold us in place. Barely any energy flow from that right now. The sun is pretty low, and that's understood. What is eating our electric charge right now? I mean, we can stop our water purifier. That's going to be some of it. Okay, this carbon extractor, this farm here can stop farming. There we go. That's what we needed. Okay, so I'm going to extend these solar panels. There we go. And that should generate us some power. So that looks good. Now, we're currently about 800 meters up and still dropping. And yeah, we can see we'll be about 18 kilometers away overall. So that's definitely not ideal. It's going to be a bit of a drive. Let's bring this right on down. So we're about 500 meters up. 400 meters up. But to be honest, I'm not concerned about oxygen. We can make it out of carbon dioxide, and we know that our foundry makes ridiculous amounts of carbon dioxide. So I'm okay with that. If we can't actually get these air filters done, that's fine. So we'll bring this right on down. We're about 100 meters up right now. And we're going to want to decelerate this a little bit. There we go. Okay, so here we are. We're currently rolling downhill. We don't have our brakes up to the max yet. So I'm going to do this and this. We need to just get these done on each side here. About like this. Okay. So we're now at a halt, and there we go. These brakes are good to go. I want the traction control to move down to 0, was what we wanted. Excellent. And we want to get rid of our sky crane as well. So that's got to go. That will affect our center of mass significantly, which will be a big, big deal for us. This has to stay, though, and that's still going to be a bit of a problem for the center of mass. So we can undock this as soon as we throttle this up. There we go. The sky crane is gone. And now all we need to do is we need to steer our way over there. And our steering is definitely a little bit off. I'm going to disable the steering here and here. And here and here. And now our steering basically needs to be inverted. This needs to be inverted. There we go. And inverted. And inverted and inverted. Okay. I'm turning the Smart ASS off for right now. I believe that was the sky crane. Excellent. And we can start making our way over. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to try to tackle going up and over this very large hill here. It should be interesting. We may have to go a bit switchbacky. We'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.